Hey y'all, welcome back to the kitchen. We're fixing to make some candied yams. I bought some yams yesterday at the store. This one thing that April loves, so I thought maybe they'd taste good to her. So I'm going to make them like my mama made them, and I'm going to bring y'all over here and show you what we're doing, and then you can know how to make my mama's candied yams. Sometimes yams can be a booger to peel, so I've got this little, they come in a set of 3, and I ordered mine off of Amazon. I've got several different peelers, but this is the best I've ever had. And I have found that I can peel sweet potatoes with it, and it's a lot easier than wrestling them with a knife. And there's not a lot of waste. So I'm just going to make a little pan of candied yams. Y'all will be seeing this after the fact, but this is actually for Easter. So I'm going to get some yams to bake it in the oven. I like just a baked potato, and if you want to make just a baked potato like Grandma used to make, you take your potato, wash it, and just give it a good old massage with bacon grease. And then you put it in your pan and bake it in the oven. I bake them at about 500 degrees for 45 minutes or so, just as long as they're soft. That makes the best baked potato. When I was a kid, I would go to Grandma's house. She always had them on the table under, she'd spread a little tablecloth over stuff on the table. This was my mother's mother. And I'd take the end off of it, and then I'd squish it up like, you seen those push-up ice creams? Well, I would squish it up and eat it, and my grandpa said I was the only person in the world he'd ever seen eat a potato like that. But I loved baked sweet potatoes all my life. And we didn't know anything about putting butter on them or brown sugar or any of that. We just ate cold baked sweet potatoes. That's a good snack. Okay, I'm going to finish peeling these, and I'll be back in a minute and show y'all what I'm going to do next. How's that? I found that Mother would just kind of do hers like this. She would just take a little knife and just either do it like this or cut it and put the flat side down and cut it, because these things are tough. I'm cutting them probably a little over 1/4 of an inch, maybe a 1/2 inch thick, because you want them to hold their shape when you get them on the plate. That one's a little bit thick. Now, this is the pan that my mama used. It was a stainless steel skillet that came with a set of pots that she got. In the last many, many years of her life, this is what she would fix her candied yams in. And sometimes, you know, that we always wanted her candied yams. So this is what she'd come up to the house and she would have her yams in this skillet. So it's special. And this is not an exact recipe. It's just kind of like a method. So if you'll just hang on and watch, I'll show you what Mom did to make them candied here in a minute. We'll get them in the oven. First of all, I'm just showing y'all this while I'm cutting them and they're dry. I'm going to parboil them till they're just a little bit soft. They still hold in their shape. And then I'm going to put them in this skillet and put the seasoning on them and get them cooking. So let me get these in a pot to parboil them, and then we'll come put the parboiled ones in here in layers, and I'll show you what we put on them, and they are so good. I seldom use all 6 burners on the stove, but I'll be using them today. I've got my eggs boiled for potato salad, and my chicken is boiled to make dumplings. Now, you know, there's a video for potato salad and dumplings in my list of videos, some of the first ones that I made. And then I've got my yams over here to parboil. We're going to have ham today and some deviled eggs and potato salad. And I'm cooking some corn that I put in the freezer out of our garden that I scraped off the cob. So there's going to be several things today that y'all have already seen me to cook, but I just thought I would let you know today's a use all the burners day. I'll be back in a little bit. Now when you're parboiling these yams, You want to get them to where when you stick a fork in them, it goes in, but you still have some resistance, because you don't want them to just turn to mush in the oven. You want them to still have some resistance. I'm going to just boil them for 3 or 4 minutes, and that's it. And then I'm going to drain them and put them in the skillet. Now, Mama didn't use brown sugar. My hands are very clean. But I happen to love the flavor of brown sugar. That molasses in it is awesome. So I'm going to add a little brown sugar in with my other sugar. Now you want to place them around to where you can put your butter pieces, and they'll all, because they've got to have some liquid, my mama said, to make some sugar, some candy on them. So what I do is I just put butter. Now for these potatoes I use 3 great big potatoes, okay? And I've got 2 sticks of butter here, and I told you, they're not diet food, but it's yummy. So I'm going to sprinkle a little brown sugar. I'm not measuring, so y'all, that's like 2 tablespoons so far. And there's another one. I'm going to sprinkle some brown sugar, give them a little of that brown sugar flavor, and then I'm going to sprinkle, and this is how Mom did it, so I'm just doing it her way. And then I'll put another layer of yams in. I drained them real good. This is not something that I cook all the time. This is something that I cook once in a while. And let me tell you, I do like candied yams with fresh turnip greens when I have them. And they're good with pinto beans too, but I don't cook them very often because, like I said, they're pretty fattening. Get your butter around. You could put it in sheets if you wanted to and just plop the sheets on the top. But I cut it in sheets and strips and then cut it some more. And I may not use the whole 2 sticks. I'll have to see. And put a little more brown sugar. This is one of April's favorite things, so nothing has tasted good to her lately. Just smoothies made from fresh fruit and orange juice. That's what she's been making a lot of. But I thought, well, maybe some candied yams would be good. She was a kid growing up. Let me tell you, she lived on pinto beans and rice. And I guess she ate these yams growing up. I don't know. Now, Mama said you pretty well hide your yams, kind of like when you're letting fig preserves set in the sugar, with the sugar on them. You want lots of sugar because that's what candies and makes them good. Now, what y'all have seen me do, I'm going to go ahead and use this whole 2 sticks of butter. I mean, you can't hurt it with butter. What y'all have seen me do is, I'm going to look and see, I had 2 cups of white sugar, so I'm going to see how much white sugar's left. Because I want it all. Daddy said he'd seen Mom. I remember one time I was trying to remember how to do it. He said, baby, she goes in there and she gets her something and she lifts those yams up and she makes sure the sugar's all down to the bottom, and that's why they're so good. He was one of her best fans. He loved anything Mama cooked, just about it. Daddy was, okay, I have used right at a cup, and I'm going to put a little bit more because I want them to candy. And I've used about 8 probably tablespoons of the brown sugar. Now I'm going to get these in the oven at 350, and I'm just going to watch them, and they'll start to brown, and they'll start getting a little bit of burnt looking sugar bumps on them, and I'll bring y'all back and show you again. See how the sugar's melted and it's bubbling around, and when it gets kind of caramelized on the top, they'll be ready. Okay, I've got the yams out of the oven, and they're bubbling and hot, syrupy, and absolutely delicious. So now you know my method of how to make them, and it's kind of a trial and error. You just have to cook them in your oven at about 350 until the tops start to brown and it starts around the edges. They're kind of crystallized. They're just delicious. Makes me think of my mama today. Okay, y'all, I don't have a recipe to show at the end of the video. I've showed you the method throughout this video of how to do it. The yams are so good. You can dish them up to serve them and they don't turn to mush, but they're very soft. So get you a couple of sweet potatoes at the store and practice. Practice makes perfect. You just have to kind of feel your way. Be sure you put plenty of sugar on them to melt and make the syrup, and then that's what browns them on the top and makes them so yummy. Hope y'all are having a wonderful week. Hope you're fixing some homemade food. I hope you had something in your cupboard, because we have this mess going on and there's not a lot of stuff in the store. So if you don't have something stuck back or canned, you're kind of in a pickle. Probably a sour pickle. Hope y'all are cooking. Hope you're spending time with your kiddos. I hope you're having patience with them and your husband and everybody that you're not used to being with 24 hours a day. Make it work. Be the bigger person. Go the extra mile. Keep peace in your home and make it a haven and not a war zone. A home, when a kid gets in the back door of their family's home, they should feel like they're in heaven. They're safe and nothing's going to happen to them. That's how I was raised. When I got in the door of our house, I was in a perfect place. I was safe. Loved unconditionally, and that's what I've tried to do with my babies. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Come back here in a day or two and we're going to do something else. Now the good Lord bless and keep you.